It's an interesting point you make, though, about whether, there are men out there, do they comprehend it? And a lot of people say, well, what's the problem with a trans person saying, I am a woman, or a man self-identifying as a woman, and then having access to women's services? So in your own words, what do you think is the big problem with that?
I don't find any problem with a man identifying as a woman, or anybody identifying with whomsoever they please. This isn't about being the sort of gender police. It's about a very serious issue which the general public really need to know about. There's a difference between identifying as you please, wearing what you want. I mean, who cares, quite frankly? It's about saying that you actually are a woman, not that you're identifying as one, because that makes you feel more comfortable. Once you say you are a woman, you then have access to all women's spaces. So if we take prisons as an example, and Lisa Nandy at the at a particular hustings when there was a leadership election was infamously recorded as saying that men who now identify as women, who have even who are in prison because they've committed sexual crimes against women, should be placed in women's prisons. Well, I mean, the reality of that is that women in women's prisons will be faced with a sexual offender in their personal spaces, and that they have no power to object or to resist. And in fact, what is actually happening, if I could just finish this point of the limited resources that prisons have, some of them are being used to protect women, to safeguard the women in prisons for the men who have committed sexual offences, who are in their midst simply because they identify as women. So this has got completely out of hand, completely and absolutely out of hand. And it's, of course, trans people have human rights. We all have human rights, but women's rights are being eroded as we speak. It's a very serious issue.